Hi everyone, I'm Natalie from My Progression, and this video is about exam invigilation. You may have been asked to assist with this as part of your regular job. It may be an exciting and varied addition to your current supply work, or it may be something you're looking to do to make some extra money whilst you're studying. This video is your how-to on invigilation and will include some scenarios at the end. This training is in line with the JCQ Invigilator training, and we have included a link in the description to the JCQ training checklist. So when is the exam season? GCSE and A-level mocks are usually conducted in October or November. The official exam season starts in May and runs right through to June and early July in some cases. Schools can choose to do their mocks at any time. This means there's plenty of opportunity to work as an invigilator. What is an exam invigilator? The exam invigilator is the person in the examination room with the responsibility for conducting a particular examination session in the presence of candidates. Invigilators have a key role in upholding the integrity of the exam process. The role of the invigilator is to ensure that examinations are conducted in accordance with regulatory requirements. This is in order to ensure that all candidates have an equal opportunity to demonstrate their abilities, ensure the security of the examination papers and completed response sheets before, during and after the exam, prevent possible candidate malpractice, and prevent possible administrative failures. So who can do it? Anyone could be an exam invigilator. All you really need is a DBS check, common sense, and an appreciation for the importance of the role that you're playing. If you already work in education, then you'll have a DBS. Make sure this is up to date and on the update service. If you're new to education, you will need to have one, and these can take a while to come through. If you work with a supply agency, they will help you do this. What's an invigilator's responsibility? It's important to remember that the students taking the exam are likely to be nervous. It was a long time ago now, but I remember lining up outside the sports hall, clutching my plastic pencil case and physically shaking. So smile at them as they come in and help them feel at ease. The main role of an invigilator is to monitor the students completing the exam, ensuring they are behaving appropriately. Each school or setting may have a slightly different setup, but the role and responsibility will remain the same. Your first impression is key when arriving at the school for the first time. See our video on first impressions, and whilst you're there, like and subscribe to keep hearing more from My Progression. Who else is involved? The exam officer is likely to be present, and they will assist with any issues that could arise. The head of centre will usually be around if needed. This will be the head teacher or the head of the setting where the exam is taking place. Make sure you know how to alert someone if you need assistance, as you want to limit the disruption to the rest of the exam room. Okay, it's time to grab a pen and paper, as I'm going to give you a lot of information and the do's and don'ts of an invigilator. Firstly, some simple do's. Invigilators must give all their attention to conducting the examination properly, be able to observe each candidate in the exam room at all times, inform the head of the centre if they're suspicious about the security of the examination papers, completed response sheets, or any other issue that threatens the integrity of the examination process. Now, one very important and noteworthy don't: invigilators must not carry out any other task, like reading a book, checking your phone, in the examination room. So how do you start the exam? Many of the provisions mentioned in the next section will be provided by the setting. It's your job to check they're all there and they're correct. So before the exam starts, the exam invigilator must ensure the seating arrangement prevents all candidates from overlooking, intentionally or otherwise, the work of others. The minimum distance in all directions from centre to centre of the candidates' chairs must be 1.25 metres. Ensure that all candidates are facing the same direction. I can't imagine a time this would be set up differently. Ensure each candidate has a separate desk or table big enough to hold question papers and answer booklets. The candidates who are not working at individual desks must be far enough apart so their work cannot be seen by and contact cannot be made with other candidates. A board, flip chart or whiteboard should be visible to all candidates, showing the centre number, subject or unit title and paper number, and the actual starting and finishing times of each exam. Make sure a reliable clock is visible to each candidate in the examination room. The clock must be big enough for all candidates to read clearly and check it's the right time. Ensure all display materials such as maps, diagrams, wall charts and projected images, which might be helpful to the candidates, is not visible in the room. Advise candidates of emergency or evacuation procedures. The school will inform you of this when you arrive. Inform the candidates they must follow the regulations of the exam and never leave question papers unattended. Open the packets of examination papers in the room in front of the candidates and distribute them. Check the candidates have the correct paper, so you can check the paper number marries up with what's on the board. Ensure that you've been provided with a secure place to put the examination papers once completed. Then, you must advise candidates that they should write in blue or black ink. They should not use correction fluid. They should not make any marks on the examination paper. They must not have access to items other than those stated in the instructions on the question paper, the stationery list, or the specification for that subject in the examination room. So mobile phones, electronic communication or storage devices are not permitted. So this is including, but not limited to, digital music players, smartwatches, tablets, and other products with text or digital facilities. So this means that all unauthorised items are left outside of the examination room. Any pencil cases taken into the room must be see-through. If you identify any unauthorised items that have been taken into the examination room, they must be handed to you and placed out of reach of the candidate. And that doesn't mean under their desk. You have to do this before the examination starts. So you would normally keep them at the front of the exam room or a similar arrangement that enables the invigilator to control access to the items. Any course material should be removed from desks and placed at the front of the room. They should not ask for and will not be given any explanation of the questions and answers. They might just be a bit nervous, so tell them to take a deep breath and read the question again. If they leave the exam room unaccompanied by a member of centre staff, they will not be allowed to return during the examination. No exceptions. Specify the length, start and finish time of the examination and the earliest time that candidates can leave the examination room. Then you need to read the instructions on the front of the response sheet to candidates and demonstrate how to complete the response sheet and advise the candidates how to make changes to any answers. Remind candidates they cannot communicate in any way with or ask for help from or give help to another candidate while they're in the examination room. Announce clearly to the candidates when they may begin. And you must be present in the exam room at all times. So a few more don'ts. The exam invigilator must not make any comment where a candidate believes that there's an error or omission on the question paper. However, in this situation, the invigilator must refer the matter to the head of the centre, who should send a report to the examining board. You cannot give any information to candidates about possible mistakes in the question paper unless there is an erratum notice or permission has been given by the examining board. You can't comment on the content of the question paper, read words or a word printed on the question paper to a candidate other than the instructions on the front cover. Don't offer any advice or comment on the work of a candidate. So now it's time for some general rules. The invigilator must not let any candidate enter the exam room past the allotted time set by the centre. Now, most centres will allow a maximum time of 10 minutes for lateness, and anyone arriving after this time will have to take the exam at another time. The awarding body regulations prohibit anyone from entering an exam room and reading the question paper within 1 hour of the start time, and this includes the invigilator. Invigilators must supervise candidates throughout the whole time that an exam is in process. So this means that the invigilators must be vigilant and remain aware of emerging situations, looking out for cheating and malpractice, or candidates who might be feeling unwell. Any irregularities must be recorded. And invigilators must not carry out any other tasks in the exam room. I already mentioned not reading a book, but doing other work or using a mobile phone. Invigilators are required to move around the examination room quietly and at frequent intervals, so leave your tap shoes at home. Give regular time checks, so if the exam is 2 hours long, you'd give a time check after 1 hour, then an hour and a half in, and then when there's 15 minutes left. Now it's time to end the exam. When ending the examination, invigilators should give sufficient notice to candidates. This is usually achieved by giving a 15-minute and a 5-minute warning prior to the published finish time of the exam. At the end of the examination, the invigilator should tell the candidates to stop working and remind them that they are still under exam conditions. Collect all examination papers and examination response sheets to place in secure storage prior to submitting to the examination board for marking. Collect all the scripts or objective test sheets before candidates are allowed to leave the examination room. Do not allow candidates to keep the exam papers or notes made during the exam. At no point should any indication be given to the candidates as whether it's believed they have passed or failed the examination. So in this final part of the training, I'm going to go through a few scenarios. So see the link in the description for more scenarios to test your knowledge and ensure you feel prepared to undertake this responsibility. After I read out the scenario, pause the video to see if you know the answer. Scenario number 1. Despite requests for students to hand in their mobile phones, one rings during an exam. What do you do? Tell the candidate not to answer the call, but to turn the phone off and hand it to you straight away. Tell the student that you have to report the incident, but allow them to finish the exam. Contact the exam officer immediately and report the matter. Also make a note on the invigilation report sheet noting the time, the candidate name and number, and seat number. The exam officer will then take it from there. Scenario number 2. A candidate becomes ill during an exam. What do you do? If a candidate is ill, remember that your main duty is to invigilate So summon help from the exam officer or school nurse or senior member of staff. When help arrives, remove the student from the exam room and help them as best you can. Keep the candidates supervised in case they recover and are able to return to the exam. Report the incident on the invigilation report sheet, noting the times involved, the candidate name and number, and seat number. And finally, scenario number 3. A student asks to take their notes home with them. What do? Inform the student that all of their work must be collected in and they cannot take it with them. How did you do with those? As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, these students are going to be nervous. It's important that you are not. Head to our resources page linked in the description for an overview of this training and test yourself with the rest of the scenarios. I've been Natalie from My Progression, and if you found this video on being an exam invigilator useful, then check out our other videos on working in education. And let's keep your career in motion.